Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Barking Brown Show. I'm Jacob, Mr. Casey Kinnaman, and Nick Carnes. And we are presented by our friends at SeatGeek this time. We are rolling out a new presenting sponsor. So if you want to check out Creed like we do in November.
And will be doing.
Or to watch the Browns, the first place guards perhaps, maybe the Cavs when they come back, go over to SeatGeek, use our promo code Barking Browns, all one word, gets $20 off your first purchase, and help support us along the way. We're also presented by Homage. We love those guys. Go check them out. If you're on Twitter, check out the YouTube. If you're on the YouTube, in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, see a little watermark logo. You can click on that to subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. We love that a ton. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Fantastic.
That's it. Okay.
I'm doing great.
Hey, the Guardians are winning right now. Donovan Mitchell resigned today. You look at it and you say, all of us, well, and I don't want to jinx anything. I tweeted this out before Guardian season, but this could be the first calendar year ever that the Cavs, Guardians, and Browns all make the playoffs in the same year. First time. And so the Guardians are charging there. There's a lot of good vibes surrounding our city right now, and I am here for it.
Yeah, the finally getting that Donovan Mitchell stuff today was, I think a lot of us, it really was leaning that way since the season ended, but you never unpucker until pen to paper, that thing gets announced, put out there. It was kind of cool to see Donovan on his Instagram story, where he was just kind of talking about he was getting tired about hearing about everybody saying he was going to leave and all that stuff. So he was happy to get that signed and get it out there. So.
Yeah, but when you're like leaving cryptic tweets, for people to judge one way or the other, you can't be mad when people speculate then, because that's all you're getting.
I just, you know what? Briefly, there were every outlet. There was no outlets aside from the Cavs themselves that ever said Donovan was going to resign. Everyone was like, "It's gone. It's a foregone. He's gone. It's a foregone conclusion. Yeah. He's leaving."
Everybody already had him in a Knicks jersey, and you know what I mean,
right? Or a Heat jersey or whatever, right? And it's like
before the playoffs, they had him in it.
Kick rocks. He's staying in Cleveland. The trade's a home run. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, we continue down our 2024 opponent series today with the Giants. We'll get to them in just a minute. It was difficult for us. What's up, MC? Good to see you, brother. It was difficult for us. We ended up not getting a guest for this show. We're unable. Oh, there's Jerry Dixon. What'd I say? Nothing.
We ended up not being able to get Giants guests for the show.
Yeah, so we weren't able to do that. So we're going to go through the Giants roster, top to bottom, done some research, looked at some things, got some thoughts. Won't be quite as informative as some of the other episodes, but I'm already working on the Raiders for next week. So we'll get to that. We'll actually end up doing like back-to-back, because we'll probably do that show on Sunday and then get back to the Sunday preview opponent series and then the Tuesday for that. So, but we want to start with Jack Conklin news. We talked about Jack Conklin on Sunday's episode. We were talking about the offensive tackle room. Casey threw out an idea that I'm stealing for an article right now. It's on my other monitor. Literally right on my other monitor is an idea that I stole from him. I told him that I stole it, so I don't want to hear any of your shit. I told him that I stole it. And that was, we threw out the idea that Jack Conklin could be the swing tackle in 2024. And after Casey said that, I started, getting the wheels turning and everything. And I was like, oh my God, that makes way too much damn sense. And then, and I'll let Casey do the honors, a very enjoyable post was made not that long after that on social media.
So yeah, we record that and we give our thoughts on the tackle room, and then sure enough, Jack Conklin out of nowhere just basically says he's back. He thanks his wife for sticking through him. You know how injuries are tough, but then he said he talked to Nick Chubb, and the thing about the Dark Knight that you have to remember, the first person to make it out of the pit was Bane. Hashtag I'm back. So as I'm a huge Batman fan, so like that touched my heart. Bane's probably the most underrated villain, because he gets portrayed buffoonishly in some instances. In the 90s version, the 2012 version was a little better. Yeah, man. We talked about it, and it's weird, right? Jack's only 29 years old. In our
Yeah.
head, he feels older because he's been in the league for a long time, playing at a high level for a long time. It is the injuries, right? The injuries make it seem like this tattered together veteran barely making it along. I don't know what to expect now because we were kind of saying Jack comes back. Do they ease him back and put him in a different role? He's back a lot sooner than I thought he would be. Now, him saying he's back, he might just be full go in football activities. That does not mean he's full go in practice. The Browns might still slow roll this out. But it definitely makes offensive tackle more intriguing.
One thing I will say, he will turn 30 in August.
17th, share birthday.
Yeah, the same as Nick Carnes' birthday. Yeah, I didn't know you knew that. I was gonna tell you that.
Oh, damn.
My little brother Nick's birthday is that day too.
It's a great day.
National Nick Day.
National Nick Day. And Jack.
Big Nick energy.
Hey.
Big Nick, that's right. So, yeah, so that's cool. Nick, what do you think about that? I know you just learned about this news very recently.
Yeah, you know what? I glanced at that post and I don't know, it just like left my brain. And so when we went back over it, I was like, oh yeah, I had seen that. It's exciting, man. You know, because you had to feel for Jack because he just gets, he battles back from that injury and it just gets somebody thrown into. Was Trey Hendrickson gets thrown into his knee, right? And like Jacob and I and Andy were there. Like I remember seeing Jack with Wyatt Teller there on the sideline. He's looking hyped to come back because he's battling back from that injury. And so you really felt for him. And he's dealt with, he tore his ACL, if I'm not mistaken, in Tennessee as well. Yeah. So like a guy that's had a ton of these especially for the big guys, like that's hard to come back from. So it's definitely great news. It feels like all of a sudden we're stacking some really great injury recovery news on top of one another between Conklin and Chubb. That's awesome. So I'm rooting for him, man. Like I think he still has the potential. I mean, he's still Jack Conklin, right? If we're believing Nick Chubb, who is the same age as Jack, can come back and battle back, who has also injured his knee multiple times, why can't Jack Conklin come back and be Jack Conklin that we knew before, right?
I love the idea of him being the number 3 tackle. Like, they're not cutting him. And me and Casey looked at his contract. It's a lot more tradable than I thought it was initially. I thought that the no cut, no trade kind of thing was probably in play there. And I like what you said, Casey, kind of the interesting, if there's an injury down there in Tennessee in training camp, does Bill Callahan call about Jack Conklin or something like that? And then it gets really interesting because in the next 2 years that he's under contract, so he's under contract this year, in the next 2 seasons, there's a void year in 27. But if they trade him, it's already post June 1 now. So if you're looking at post June 1s, if you're looking at trade stuff on like OTC or anything like that, make sure you put the post June 1. So he would leave a $4.3 million in dead cap, but he would give them $6.2 million in cap relief this year. And then the next 2 seasons, he'd have a $2.7 million in dead cap, and he would free up $16.6 million in each of the next 2 seasons if he was traded. So I guess it's out there. That is a possibility. But with what happened last year at offensive tackle, unless you mentioned it, Casey, if someone calls and gives you a 2, you might be like, oh man, that's a premium pick. You might consider it, but if it's not something like that, man, like I love Jack Conklin. And like if Jed goes down, you move him to left. If DeJuan goes down, you put him back at right. Whatever. I would feel. I think that ultimately is the way I would go.
Let me ask you both this. Who do you have more faith in to be a reliable starter in 2024? Jack Conklin or Jedrick Wills?
The thing about Conklin is that's back-to-back knee injuries.
Right.
On a big guy.
Back-to-back knee injuries on a big guy whose game is predicated on athleticism. It's not like he's a mauler out there winning with power.
True.
He's an athlete.
I don't
know. That's a good Jack. I still go Jack. Man.
The only damn.
I still go Jack.
I do too. I do too.
If it's just a question of if both of them are healthy, who's going to play better? It's Jack Conklin. I don't even moving him at left tackle. I feel better about Conklin at left tackle than I feel about Jett at left tackle. Right or wrong, because Conklin hasn't played left tackle in like 8 years or something.
Yeah, 2016.
26. Look at that.
Dang.
Math.
Had that ready to roll.
Math right away.
I couldn't remember if it was 2016 or 2017 was his rookie year. I couldn't remember which one was which. But the thing about Jett's had a couple of injuries the last couple of years too, and then you had the ankle injury that kind of hurt him in year 2, and like some of the inconsistencies. I still lean. I kind of lean Jett. I know that's unpopular, but
okay.
I'm just concerned about
this is a genuine question. You know, it's tough. It's tough.
It was a tough question. No, it was tough.
Yeah.
The age factors in, the severity of injury, you know.
Right.
There's a lot of things. I just know that if Jack gets to level, he's consistent. That's the one thing Jett is not. He's not consistent. He's consistently inconsistent.
Yep.
He's really only like 4.5 years younger too.
That's kind of crazy to think about because it feels like Jack's been in the league forever.
Yeah.
Well, and part of it is he's an all-pro as a rookie.
True. Yeah.
Like so,
he was all-pro in 2020.
Yeah, his first year in Cleveland. Yeah, because like when you get a guy comes right in, he switches positions too. That's not talked about enough. As a rookie, he was an all-pro right tackle. He was a college left tackle.
Yeah.
Like
wow.
It's funny though how much little thought that gets, because if they're moving from right to left, it's this gargantuan thing. But if they're moving from left to right, it's like, you should be able to handle that.
It's easier. It's
still biomechanics. It's still like muscle memory and repetition.
I come back to the thing that Jed and or maybe it was Joe Thomas that said it when they were moving Jed to left tackle. It's like all of a sudden you start trying to wipe your butt with the other hand. And it's like, can you do it? Sure. But it's really fucking weird. Like, you're really out there like, oh,
you're
God.
You're going to need a bidet.
Yeah, we're just going to get that thing up in there and give it a little squirt.
I'm ambidextrous, man. I don't know.
I've had several right hand injuries because I'm a moron. So I've had to learn how to do a lot of things left-handed. Brushing your teeth and wiping your ass are the two hardest things to do left-handed to teach yourself.
I'll try. I'll have to brush my teeth with my left hand tonight and just see how that goes.
Yeah. That's homework. Come back and review because honestly, I just go like I do what's more like I've been playing pickleball, right? And so sometimes I won't want a backhand, so I will switch my hand, like which hand I hold the paddle with, like mid run because it's easier. I don't know. I'm really curious because like I do the same thing with brushing my teeth. Right, like
you don't
right
switch.
side,
when you go to the other side of your face, you hand off the baton.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. That's just
skills, man. Skills.
That's just.
I had never done that. Like I can shoot basketball. There's things I can do left-handed. Okay. But I've had my hand immobilized my right hand immobilized, and I've had to do everything with my left hand. Mm-hmm. And those are the two things that took a long time to get down to where I wouldn't have to think about it.
The more you know.
Huh. Sure. All right. So moving right along, a couple of weeks, just a reminder, we're 20 days as of recording in this podcast from rookies reporting to training camp.
Wow.
Less than 3 weeks. We're also just a couple of weeks before NCAA 25.
Saw that.
For all you degenerates out there.
You gonna stream it on Twitch, Jacob?
I may or may not have joined a relatively well-known podcaster's online dynasty.
Oh, you're in.
I'm in.
You're in. Okay. Right.
I'm in, and I'll be representing Ohio U, so I will be.
Let's go.
I will be controlling the Bobcats.
OU, oh yeah.
It felt like I know a lot of those people that are on that coaching staff and stuff. So like it felt I was like, but like, if I don't like them, could I just fire them because I'm petty? Because like, they might be good coaches, but like, I don't like them in real life, and it's like, well, let's just see what happens. Okay, let's talk about the Giants. So we're working our way down the. Yes, fire them, Mitch says. Yeah, I think he knows. He's a big Bobcats fan as well, Mitch is. So, season ticket holder, so have to do that. We can conspire, Mitch. We can work together on this. All right, let's talk about the Giants. We've talked about the Jags. We've talked about the Cowboys. That's it, right? Are we only? Yeah, we're on 3.
We're
three.
on long season, baby. We got ways to go.
We're gonna end up having to do a couple of these a week to get them in. I don't think we actually have enough time. We'll see. Who gives a shit?
The more the merrier.
All right. Where do you guys want to start? You want to start offense? You want to start defense? What side do you want to start?
Well, okay. The stronger side of the Giants is probably defense. Would we agree?
I would.
So okay. So maybe we talk some of their additions and that kind of thing.
Let's talk about some of these. I'm very intrigued. Here's the thing about the Giants overall, and I was thinking about this today, preparing for this show. Is I've got a few friends that are Giants fans, and used to do a podcast with one of them. He's not quite as diehard of it as he used to be. Just in a sense, kind of dialed it back a little bit. And but I've still had some conversations with him and whatnot. There are a lot of pieces, especially defensively, that I like. The biggest issue, obviously, is at quarterback. They don't have one.
Just Drew Lock slander is insane to me. You'll say they don't have a quarterback.
I'm sorry.
Swag Lord?
The Nathan Rourke slander is worse. Ohio University legend, Nathan Rourke. CFL, I think it was a CFL MVP one year, I think he was.
Isn't his brother?
His brother is just transferred to Indiana. That's Nathan Rourke. Nathan Rourke will be the Indiana quarterback this year. He's a grad transfer.
Good things about Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, both of Curtis Rourke really impressed me. Kind of stepped up in the last over his time, because I was always like, oh, he's not as good as Nathan, but he ended up being pretty good for OU. But some of these defensive pieces are interesting. So obviously they pull off the trade for Brian Burns. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, tonight is the premiere. It might be premiering right now.
Yep, right now. It's the off-season edition of Hard Knocks.
Which is really
it's focused on the Giants.
And they showed a clip earlier on social media. I don't know if you guys saw this. They posted a clip earlier where at the Senior Bowl, Joe Sheen, the GM of the Giants, was talking to, I can't think of the GM of the Panthers, but he was talking to him, and he was like, you want to give us 2 1s for Burns? And he's like, no. Well, yeah, but no. And it was like, and everybody's like, those are the kind of conversations that start stuff, because
is Fitterer the GM of the Panthers?
That sounds right. But either way, that little conversation let Joe Sheen and the Giants know, hey, they're open to dealing Brian Burns, and ultimately they get that deal done. And I love it because I really like Kayvon Thibodeau. His rookie year didn't go the way they thought it was going to be. Top 5 pick, has some injuries, and no, Curtis is the younger one. You're right, Mitch. You're good. Nathan Rourke is in the Giants. Curtis Rourke is in Indiana. But Kayvon Thibodeau, I think, came on a little bit better last year. I really like his upside. Azeez Ojulari is on that pass rushing group. He was my edge one in 2021. He was actually really where I wanted the Browns to go in the first round. Obviously, they took a little bit of a different path in 2021, and it worked. But, Ojulari was my favorite edge rusher in that class. Boogie Basham, they get in a trade from Buffalo. I think that's quality young depth behind Brian Burns. Dexter Lawrence is probably the second or third best defensive tackle in the NFL.
It's a huge addition.
It's a trade that worked out really well for them, right? They traded for Lawrence, didn't they?
No, they drafted him.
Oh, okay.
Now you're thinking of when they had Quinnen Williams before they let him go.
I think you're right.
Was it Quinnen Williams?
No, Leonard Williams.
Leonard Williams.
He's in Seattle right now, I believe.
There it is.
I'm like, there was a Williams. I swear to God, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, kid from USC.
But Dexter Lawrence was their first round pick in 2019, probably one of the best. I like Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips is the one they got from Buffalo, Nick. That's what you're thinking of, I think.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, my brain.
Jordan Phillips. I really like Bobby Okereke at linebacker. Really like Tyler Nubin, getting him in the second round, the rookie from Minnesota at safety. Drew Phillips, the rookie, knows Deonte Banks was their first round pick last year. There's a lot of really nice young pieces. They got Isaiah Simmons in the trade from Arizona. I think that's interesting. Defensively, I think this defense, pass rush wise and front seven, I think they're going to be better than some teams expect them to be.
Yeah, they definitely upgraded from last year. I like the upside of Thibodeau. Thibodeau was the number one high school recruit going into, coming out of high school in the nation. Obviously, has all the tools. You insulate it by getting Dexter Lawrence put down next to him. You know what I mean? You just like to see the way this Brian Burns, high upside guy. So yeah, when I look at this defense, man, for me, it's the defensive line. They're building from the trenches, which when you don't have a lot on the other side of the ball, I think as long as you can control the line of scrimmage, you give yourself a chance. So yeah, I think you got to like what they did there.
I think they're
the ones that took Matt Adams. I forgot about that.
They're probably going to be able to generate pressure with just their front four. And it seems that's the way the NFL is trying to go. And when you've got Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau, that's a strong pair of edge rushers right there. I really like what they did up front. And I think their problem is just we'll get to the offense, but it's like if they can form a competent offense, I think the defense will keep them in games. Honestly, it feels like they've got a nice unit over there.
Yeah, I think so, because we've seen what disruptive pass rushes can do. Like we've seen it in the Super Bowl, we've seen it in Cleveland, we've seen all of that. I think Deonte Banks is going to take a step forward this year. I think he's a really talented corner in second year out of Georgia. The Tyler Nubin thing, I keep coming back to that because they lost McKinley Jack. No, what's his name? It's not McKinley Jackson. That's the defensive tackle. His last name's McKinley. Oh my God!
I thought you were correct the first time, so I'm scared to go out on a limb. It sounded right to me.
Xavier McKinney. There we go. Sorry, Xavier McKinney.
This is where it would help to have a Giants guy.
Yes.
Who could hold our hands.
Far between. With their recent years of records, I get it, but you'd think there'd be a Giants somebody out there.
But either way, Tyler Nubin comes in, plays strong safety. They lose Xavier McKinney. I don't know what I think they'll be okay. But I think their linebackers are interesting and the depth, like I said, on their defensive line. I just think that they're going to give you, especially early in games. Now, they may fall victim to what we saw at times with Cleveland last year, and we've seen with Cleveland in the past. There's been some Browns teams in the past where they've had good defenses, but their offenses couldn't do dick, so it didn't matter.
You only hold up for so long.
I think the stats for the Giants defense this year probably won't be as good as what they actually are, because I just don't have a lot of faith in what they can do offensively. But I do think if you think you're going to sleepwalk past this defense, I do think you've got a little bit of a rude awakening coming from that side.
Any defense that can get pressure organically without having to manufacture blitzing and putting people in vulnerable situations, they give themselves a chance, period, just with that. So between Thibodeau and Burns coming off the outside, Lawrence in the middle, Phillips, they got dudes, man.
Yeah. It's gonna be an exciting front four to watch. I'm curious to see, because the Giants had that surprise season. I think it was 2 years ago now, where they made the playoffs.
Dable's first season, yeah.
Right, and so I don't expect them to be like this is really hard with Daniel Jones, and I know we're going to get to the offense. I don't think that they'll be like a bottom like 3-4 win team. They could. Okay. I think they'll be a little better than that.
All right. Well, here's my way too early question I'm posing to you guys.
Yes.
Will they finish ahead of the Commanders in the East?
That's so difficult.
Or is this the basement team?
Maybe I have to walk back my statement because honestly, it's such a quarterback-driven league, and I just think
I'm so worried about Jaden Daniels getting hurt, though.
True.
But Jaden Daniels has got some weapons now.
Yeah, they've definitely got. All right, if I've got to pick right now,
I'm going to take the Giants.
Washington. Oh, okay. Maybe we could make a little fun wager.
We've got
I think
wagers.
we should go through. I think we should, before the season, we should get together on here and give our orders of each division. Go through the divisions.
Okay. Yeah.
We've traditionally done a season prediction show, so we will incorporate that. There's usually some bets. There's some bets coming, gentlemen. We've got an annual 53-man roster bet to make. And we've almost decided, this is interesting because it's always just been me. Well, we had Ed, but a lot of times it's been me and you. So making it with 3 is going to be pretty interesting. But we'll have a 53-man roster episode. We'll do a bet on that. Actually, Casey, were you involved in the 53-man as a guest?
Me and Randy were on that show last year.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so because I was pretty sure I made a big graphic for it, and I was like, it was my idea to make this graphic, and then I got pissed about it. I was like, oh, motherfucker.
And I forgot Matthew Adams existed, so that's on me because that ended up being a big difference maker there.
Yeah, he's like, his face when he saw Matthew Adams for all 3 of us, he was like, fuck.
Son of a bitch. Just to bring him in for special teams.
I forgot about Quentin. I was having a conversation with my dad about like defensive tackles the other day. I completely forgot about Quentin Jefferson. I was just like, he just left my head for a little bit, and that was pretty funny. But yeah, we'll have a 53-man roster competition, some season prediction competition, and we're also going to do a pick episode once the season gets here. We're going to pick a handful of games, and there'll be a bet with that too. So we've got some.
Hell yeah.
Like, we might just get to a point where we're bringing you all – like, we're pretty consistently at 2 episodes a week right now. Maybe we'll get higher than that. Who knows?
My goal is 3 during the year.
It could happen.
Casey's got like 8 other shows that he's on, so –
that's fair.
I can make 3 happen.
The entire Barking Brown show's on.
Let's go.
Hey, all 3 of us here are on Sports for CLE now, too.
Oh, yeah.
We're busy. These 2 are writing – I don't know how they make time for that either. But I just want to say, before we get to the offense, an old friend is going to be getting a whole lot of work this year. Scottish Hammer, Jamie Gillen, punting for the Giants over there. I imagine he's going to be punting quite a few times when the Giants come.
It's not just that. In my opinion, if you were with the kickoff rules changing, he is the perfect kicker for the kickoff rule.
Ooh, good point.
Because he's so athletic.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a viable tackler. He's not a liability out there. He can. I mean, the young man's a rugby player for sure.
In Madden, he was always my kickoff guy just because he had a bigger leg when he was with the Browns. Like he was my kickoff guy on Madden because I always put out whoever has the higher kick strength. That's because I don't give a shit what direction it's going on a kickoff. Just kick out some bitch out of the back of the end zone. I don't give a shit.
I will never forget for a good bit there. We had a Hammer Light beer here, and it's like only in Cleveland are we going to make a beer after the punter.
After the punter.
An undrafted free agent punter. And they only kept him because they traded Andy Lee. I didn't think they were going to keep him because they had Andy Lee.
They got like a 4th for him, a 5th?
Yeah, from Carolina.
Yeah. So crazy. All right, Giants offense.
All right.
Cheeks. There's just cheeks.
Hey, they have a great left tackle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Thomas is fantastic.
Which is also a lesson to people that when let people develop. Because if you didn't just trade this kid off his rookie year, he'd have been like he's trash. They overdrafted.
Yeah.
He's turned into a stud.
He's very good. I like John Michael Schmidt, second year player, their center. I like him. He was my favorite center in that draft last year. Their guard, John Runyon's okay at right guard. Their guards are kind of weak. Evan Neal has had a really rough go of it at right tackle. There was some buzz they might kick him inside at guard, but it doesn't look like it. So the offensive lines, it's got some pieces, but it's not. I love Daniel Bellinger.
I was about to just say that.
That's
Daniel Bellinger. That was
favorite right there.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that got away. You know, there's always the one that got away in the draft, and Daniel Bellinger was one of them.
Well, look who they got behind him.
Yeah, Theo Johnson, another show favorite.
Yeah.
I like that group. Their running back room, though.
Okay. Devin Singletary, man, let me just say, he beat out Dameon Pierce last year in Houston for that job when there was really no expectation for him to do so. He's better than you think. He's not great at anything, but he's good as a contributor.
He's a contributor, but he's the only thing on that roster. And like if it was him and Jerome Ford, for example, like I think Singletary is better than people give him credit for, but I also think he's just kind of like he's a 1A, 1B kind of player. He needs another guy. He needs another guy with him. So I don't hate that Singletary's your starter, but I hate that it's Eric Gray,
Tyrone Tracy, baby.
Tracy. I like Tyrone Tracy.
Two rooks. Or no, Eric Gray's second year guy out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, second. Yeah.
Did Tracy go undrafted? Or did they draft him?
He's drafted.
Fifth. Okay, fifth.
Yeah. But like that's it. That's what you've got there.
Yeah.
And then
you lose Saquon Barkley, right? Which they've also teased on the HBO, that conversation with Saquon, which is going to be interesting to watch.
I'm going to tell you, like, I've not really participated a ton in watching Hard Knocks, mainly because up until the last couple of years with HBO Max, it was relatively hard to watch some of those shows. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like watch some of those things that were on HBO. But I'm very interested in this one being the off season because there's just so much that goes on in the off season. So I'm fascinated to see some of that stuff with the Giants. So I'm going to be tuning in for that. We get to the wide receivers. I love Malik Neighbors, and getting Malik Neighbors there, I think it was the right call, even though you don't have a quarterback, because I think Malik Neighbors is better than any of the quarterbacks you could have taken when you were on the clock there. That's why I'm fine with that, because I think it was the tier down, and he was up there. And I think whoever becomes the quarterback in the future, having Malik Neighbors is going to matter a ton. Darius Slayton's the injury stuff. Slayton, from time to time, he's good. He's not great. I like Wan'Dale Robinson.
Also hurt last year.
And then you got the ghost of Allen Robinson.
He little.
They signed Allen Robinson.
Oh, yeah, he's. And then it's like, and Jalen Hyatt, like.
He could be a specialty guy. He's not. He's limited in his route tree, but he's hell of a vertical threat. I think what we're talking about. I think Darius Slayton is the Devin Singletary of wide receivers.
Oh,
Darius Slayton is Devin.
He's better than you think he is. Doesn't have a really high ceiling. He's got a pretty high floor.
He needs to be your number 2.
Yeah. He's unfortunately he's kind of been slotted where he's been the best receiver in New York. Now they have Neighbors. He might be slotted appropriately. None of this might matter till Drew Lock gets under center.
Okay.
They
go for it.
Just ironically, I saw a Jalen Hyatt clip today, and they asked him what he attributed his bulking up to do.
Oh God, I saw this.
He attributed his new diet of peanut butter and jelly Uncrustables this off season to bulking up.
Which part of me is like, yum. The other, but the other part of me is like, okay. All right.
No, so
this is probably a thing, and if it is, stop me. Can you deep fry those?
Yes, it is a thing.
Baby.
Okay.
Just when you do it, before you do it, butter both sides.
Oh yeah. Now I just have one question. Okay, because Wan'Dale Robinson. Now I get why you take Malik Neighbors. I understand that, but Neighbors was the most successful in the slot. Correct me if I'm wrong. In college, and
Yeah.
okay. And so, like, are they planning to use him on the outside? Because I don't feel like Wan'Dale Robinson is an outside guy. And so then it's like if you're going to use Neighbors in the slot, then it's like Robinson's just kind of this odd man out of in that situation. And then it's like you're just looking at Darius Slayton and Allen Robinson, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, what is? I mean, not that Robinson's some like dynamic difference maker, but I'm just saying it's like you draft Neighbors, and it just the talent is obviously there, but the fit initially doesn't seem great.
Neighbors is a weird eval, similar to Judy, and he has outside skills, but his alignment in the slot is usually to keep him off of press coverage.
Yeah. He was
So
about 50,
because he's a vertical slot. He's not a dink and dunk guy. He's a guy who's taking chunks off of you. And they had Thomas on the outside, so there was no need to do that. So I think he can be more versatile in his alignment to where he's not pigeonholed to being a slot only. I think the most success early in his career will come from the slot, but his skills translate. So it'll just be a function of getting him reps out there and see what it looks like.
He's 6 foot 200, so he's not like criminally undersized. He's not like a 175 guy that you're trying to put on the outside and see if you can make it work. Like, he's got enough size. I mean, last year he did play more in the slot than out wide, but in 2022 he did have more snaps out wide than in the slot.
Okay.
Good so he has done enough of it. But you're right. Casey, you nail it. It's exactly like the Jerry Jeudy situation. You're putting him in there to get favorable matchups because some of the physicality limitations of being that size. But correct me if I'm wrong, Wan'Dale Robinson is undersized, is he not?
Oh, he's little.
Yeah.
He's not undersized. He's little.
185. Yeah, 5'8", 185.
Yeah.
So there's a difference in those types of players. Yeah.
Right. And I think we should mention too, and Casey, I know you're going to go into the Drew Lock stuff because Daniel Jones is coming back from an ACL tear. And you know what? When they did win or go to the playoffs, like a big part of the dynamic he added was the rushing. Like Daniel Jones is fast. Well, was fast, and so I'm really curious to see because most quarterbacks that come back from ACL tears are not used in the same rushing way, at least initially. We saw that with Kyler Murray, where he tore his ACL, and they really didn't use him in the same running way. So I don't. Like that is a dynamic that from Jones, that even when he struggled to pass, he could at least give you. And I'm not sure what that's going to be like coming back this year.
That's great. Great question. And Randy Gursey, shout out to our boy Randy. Get mad when we talk about sneaky athletes, but Daniel Jones might be the sneakiest.
Right.
He looks like an accountant, but dude can flat out fly.
Yeah.
I'll still never forget about him tripping and fumbling. Oh my God. That was the most me thing he could have done. Cause like, that was me. I'd be like, get out in the open field, like, oh my God, look at me. Down I go. I remember there's one play. It was my final game in high school. It had just been pouring rain, I was running I don't even think I was running a route. I think I was trying to block, but when I put my foot into the ground to kind of cut and go to get in front of this guy, I just I wasn't touched. Just all of a sudden I looked over and my feet were parallel with my face. And I was like, oh no, I'm not supposed to be like this right now. And it was like, nobody had touched me. Yeah. I relate, brother.
Yours wasn't on national television. So
yeah, that's true. It was a primetime game too, wasn't it? It was like Thursday football.
Monday Night Football.
I was like,
all right. So Drew Lock, Casey.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so with Daniel Jones, where does Dable stand with Daniel Jones? Like that to me, that's what this comes down to. Is he being forced from the top to play Daniel because of the contract?
Is Daniel Jones his Baker Mayfield, where Kevin Stefanski came in to fix it? It was really good in year one, and they went to the playoffs. In Daniel Jones' case, his contract, he was further in his contract, so they had to sign the extension because it was a later in his rookie deal. But Stefanski came in, And we've heard since then, they never really wanted Baker Mayfield. Like they were going to try to make it work, but they had eyes towards the future. Is that the same thing with Daniel Jones? Is it the same scenario there to where he did a really good job with it? And it was like, well, I mean, you kind of got, now you're stuck.
Well, so similar question to Cleveland last year, where we were wondering if the regime could outlast if there were quarterback issues, right? So can Brian Daboll outlast a bad Giants season if Daniel Jones is bad?
I was thinking about this again, this as well today when I was thinking about the Giants. You almost wish they didn't win as much in 21 or 22.
Thought commit to Daniel Jones just because you won and felt the pressure.
Yeah.
So now you are linked to him. I agree. Look, man, in most markets, Daboll would be safe because he won a Coach of the Year award 2 years ago, but New York's a different beast. Like if it's 3-14, everyone will get ousted. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And then for Daboll, he has to win. And if you have to win, I'm putting the ball in Drew Lock's hands. Straight up.
All right.
I just think he gives you better options, man. He's a guy who can actually take advantage of neighbors. He's a guy that can take advantage of deep balls to Hyatt. And this just might be my lack of faith in Daniel Jones's upside. But if he's come back from a knee injury and can't run, I got no use for you, brother.
I think Locke will at least chuck it up there, right, and give his guys a chance. Like Daniel Jones is not Daniel Jones is not a chance taker, right? Like it's got to be there for him to toss.
Especially if he trusts his legs. We don't know how much he will, like you said, because of the injury. But if he trusts his legs and it's not there,
how loud is that noise going to get for Tommy DeVito?
Well,
huh?
I wasn't gonna talk about Tommy DeVito.
I'm just saying, this New York dude.
Yeah,
that noise might get loud, dude. I guess that's the thing that might happen.
It's really weird for the Giants because, man, it's like as I was coming up, I was watching Eli Manning, and it's like they were competitive. Michael Strahan, that they go, they beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice. They're like always at least competitive, and I know they've got like a really proud history as a franchise, and it's just like the last 5+ years they've just been in the dumpster for the most part. It's very strange for a franchise that has such great history. And then all of a sudden it's like everybody that you like, you take Saquon Barkley number 2 overall and you've got this contract dispute with him. Was it number 2 overall? I can't remember. Yeah, it was number 2 overall. And now he's gone. He goes to your division rival. It's strange times over there. And the Jets should be a lot better than them.
Yeah, except apparently Aaron Rodgers might be in Egypt right now on some crazy retreat. I saw something about that. I'm not here
on the Aaron Rodgers watch recently. I have no idea.
Every once in a while that'll come across. It's like, and it's like one of those random accounts. The Jets are worried about, and it's like, it's Aaron. He's fun. He always does weird stuff, and then he comes back and plays football. It'll be fine.
Here's my message to the Jets: you fucking signed up for this. Just take the ride. You bought the ticket, now take the ride.
No, okay. I know we're doing a Giants preview right now, but just as a Browns fan and somebody that's looking at the AFC as a whole and the playoff picture as a whole, I just feel like, okay, the last time we saw Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, he wasn't vintage Aaron Rodgers. There was very clear signs of decline there. He came on at the end of the year, but he still missed the playoffs. And all of his yards per game, that whole thing was down. Okay, so he goes to the Jets. He tears his Achilles. And I get it. They have a great defense. They have Garrett Wilson. They have Breece Hall. There's lots to like there. But people act like Aaron Rodgers is just going to come back in his 40s and just be Aaron Rodgers, and the Jets are going to waltz to the playoffs or whatever. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like that is a lot of faith to put in a dude.
And you got Buffalo and Miami in that division.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to play Buffalo and Miami twice, and New England will probably be better than they were last year with Drake May.
Or Jacoby Brissett, for that matter.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be better than they were last year. I don't know like how many wins they'll get or anything like that, but they'll be better.
Right.
I feel like New England's like a mid-major now.
Yeah, right now.
Mm.
I think their defense will be decent.
Should be. But to the point, like of the assumption that Aaron Rodgers is just going to be Aaron Rodgers, a lot of this is a rub off of Tom Brady. Tom Brady played so long into his career because growing up, for me as a football fan, if you were a quarterback above the age of 38, you're on borrowed time.
Mm.
And if you made it to 40, it's over. Brett Favre, it's over.
Yeah.
But now we've seen quarterbacks get past that 40 mark and still be able to play at a high level. So it just becomes this thought like, well, he'll be able to. Dude, Father Time, undefeated, And Aaron's last year in Green Bay, he had injuries, broken toe, broken thumb,
That's true.
And his numbers were down. But you don't get better by not doing shit. And he hasn't played. Snaps the Achilles, 3 snaps into last year?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's over because could he's got enough talent around him.
Yeah.
Even if Aaron Rodgers can get back to 82% of Aaron Rodgers, that's still better than a lot of quarterbacks in this league. Is it elite? I don't know if it's elite now. So it's a ton of assumption, and I wouldn't feel good about it if I was a Jets fan. I know that, but it's what you signed up for. You signed up for the Aaron Rodgers experience, so enjoy it, I guess.
And you signed up for this experience tonight, so I hope you had fun.
We have almost 400 people watching on the old tweeter, mostly right now, and so I just want to ask you, because last time this worked. If you're watching on the old tweeter right now, it would mean a whole lot to us if you would go click that subscribe button on the YouTube. It's linked in. You're watching from Twitter, right? So the YouTube link's on the Twitter page. You can click that subscribe, and you just put smiles on our faces.
It's over your left shoulder, Casey.
Oh yeah,
it's over.
I just want.
Yeah, there it is. The YouTube.
I just want to say we've talked a little bit of nerd stuff here. So I was scrolling through the old HBO Max the other day. They have a season of a new Suicide Squad animated series that I haven't seen yet. I just saw it yesterday.
I'm just hearing about it.
I literally saw it yesterday. It was like new. And the Guardians just walked off the White Sox. So who doesn't like that? But yeah, I'm gonna check that out. And it's like all of a sudden we're almost here, baby. We're almost here. We love you. We've got lots more previews, lots more fun stuff. We're going to do some stuff from camp and all kinds of things in the works. So we got StubHub. We got Homage. We got
SeatGeek.
SeatGeek. Sorry. SeatGeek, not StubHub.
Promo code Barking Browns, all one word, $20 off your first purchase.
Special sponsor of the Cavaliers, too. If you're going to any Cavs games with newly signed Donovan Mitchell, you will want to use the SeatGeek to get into those games. This has been a Giants, Jets, Jack Conklin, Barking Browns show. And Nick, he's Casey. That's Jacob. Go Browns.
Yeehaw, Skyrim. Did I use that one last time?
Yeehaw, Skyrim.
I used that one last time, didn't I?
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. It cuts off eventually. It's just going to keep going, though. So
where are you going? This is the show that never